Today we are talking about Jesus as the King of Kings in our Advent series. So every year we actually have this Advent calendar typically downstairs for us. But we have this as a countdown to Christmas, but also more than just a countdown to Christmas. It's a way for us to intentionally reflect on who Jesus is leading up to Christmas.
Yes.
And today we're going to be touching the subject, King of Kings, which is very similar to Lord of Lords. You don't want to be so finite, like, I need to know all the micro differences. But I feel like since it is biblical and it is in Scripture, there are very unique differences that are worth highlighting between these two titles. And so just like the other time when we went over Lord of Lords, would you read Revelation 19:16?
And he has on his robe and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords.
And here we're getting Jesus' royal title that is above all titles. This isn't like a symbolic or poetic kingship that he holds. It is truly absolute. It is unrivaled sovereignty that he does not check in with anybody.
Right.
There is no level of authority that is above him at all. He is in total control, and he does have the final word, no matter what. And we see that he is a victorious king as well. And so when we celebrate Advent, we understand that the King of Kings came. And you wonder, why was King Herod, so freaked out?
Right.
All the prophetic words about this newborn king that came. But there's this idea of this promised Messiah king is coming. And it made earthly rulers afraid.
Yeah.
How much more so would every single power, seen and unseen, tremble at his name?
Right.
So the Old Testament itself, much like Lord of Lords, points to this reality. Would you read Psalm 47:2 and then Psalm 95:3?
For the Lord Most High is awesome. He is a great king over all the earth. That's Psalm 47:2. And then Psalm 95:3. For the Lord is the great God and the great king above all gods.
And so here, much like with Lord of Lords, when it says for the Lord, typically in your Bible, it's going to be all caps. This is for Yahweh. And so it's saying, typically, people say, oh, Yahweh's the Father. Yes, but so is the Son. The Son is Yahweh. So is the Spirit.
Right.
And so here we see the New Testament declaring that Jesus is Yahweh. Jesus is the great king over all the earth. He is the great king above all gods. And this is so important because we see in Daniel 7, he has this indestructible kingdom that he's received, one that's never going away. And we understand this contrast where earthly rulers, they would govern temporarily.
Right.
Even if they're dictators, one day they will die, right? Voted in or not, it is temporary.
Yes.
Where Jesus, he reigns eternally. No one can vote him in, no one can vote him out.
That's right.
Not even death could take him out.
Yep.
And all human authority is delegated to some degree. Even if authority is taken and someone just declares themselves, it's delegated by people's choices by saying, okay, yes, we follow you. Where Jesus's kingship and authority, it's inherent and it's divine and it's unshakable. No one gave it to him and no one can take it away at all. And for a moment, why don't you talk to us about how his kingship would shape our discipleship, our worship, our wonder, and then I can close with some additional thoughts.
Yeah, so when Jesus is our king, it's going to shape our desires. I remember when I was younger, I loved Jesus, but I didn't really know him. And obviously now that I know him, I love him more and more. But for my little understanding and what I did know, I loved him. But I had my own desires. I wanted to be I wanted to have a cheer gym, and I wanted to have like a big cat sanctuary. And while none of these things are necessarily bad or wrong, once I started following Jesus, he had different plans for me. And it wasn't like, man, like, I'm so upset, Lord, like, I wanted to do these things. Like, no, when I started following him, like, he gave me the desires in my heart that he had for me, and they became my desires. And there wasn't this like push pull. It was just as I followed him and I sought him, he transformed me, and it almost became easy to lay down what I wanted. Because why would I not want to follow the one who made me and has my best interest at hand, and who is the king? Like, yeah, I'm going to follow my king. And same with our worship. Like, why would I not worship the King of Kings? He's so worthy. He's holy. He's perfect. He's wonderful. He's beautiful. He's all these amazing things. How can I not respond to him? I say this all the time, if I'm not responding in worship to Jesus, I'm not looking at him. I'm more focused on myself or my circumstances. And that's why I think my soapbox, worship songs have to be about the Lord, because if we're singing more about ourselves, we're not leading people to look at Jesus. We're leading self-centered worship. And then we wonder why people aren't worshiping. It's like, well, maybe because we don't want to raise our hands when we're talking about how terrible our life is, or whatever it is. I think our pastor says like country song. What is that?
Oh yeah, basically talking about like sometimes we call country songs worship songs because it's all about like my dog left me, my wife left me, she keyed my car. It's all about our sad state of things.
Right. Or even it's just all about how great everything is for us.
Sure.
And it's still not even really about the Lord. And it's like, well, why are things great? Like, this is a whole other topic, but I think it's also relevant because he is the king, and all that we have is from him and because of him. Like, we need to stop making worship about ourselves and make it about the King of Kings. And our mission in life, our calling in life, whatever we're supposed to do, whether it's parenting, it's you work at a supermarket, you work at Amazon overnight, wherever you are, whatever you do, serve the King. In whatever capacity or environment you're in, serve the King. We're not all called to be pastors. We're not all called to be preachers in the church, but we are all called to preach the word, and we're all called to worship the King of Kings, regardless of where we are. So I think in this Advent season, we need to remember that the King of Kings, the King of everything, came as a baby. Mm-hmm. He humbled himself. Like, what other king has done that? No one. And that's just revealing his love for us. Like, his incarnation is so beautiful. And when we look at it for what it is and what he's done for us, again, it's going to cause us to respond in worship. We're going to see his love. The eternal ruler wrapped himself in frail flesh. Like, he took on flesh, added flesh to himself, but he's the king, yet he humbled himself to such an extent. It's unimaginable. Say that for me.
Unimaginable.
Unimaginable. It's crazy to think about, but that's how good he's a good king, but he is still the king, and he still has authority, and he still reigns, and our job is still to obey and follow.
Yeah, and with the king, you pledge your allegiance to a king. Mm-hmm. And when you're thinking about, he has final say over his entire kingdom.
Right.
And when you say yes to him, you have entered into the realm of his domain, where it's like, I have final say over everything that takes place here. And that's to your point when you're like, oh, I wanted these things for my life. And he's like, I actually have designated a place for you. Mm-hmm. And so here's where I have you.
Right.
And there's also liberty in the king's kingdom. Mm-hmm. And where he's like, yes, you are meant to enjoy my kingdom. Right. Because at the same time, he's like, I do not need you to further it, because like I further it. Right. And I have an unending kingdom. Right. But then at the same time, you get the idea of like apostles and ambassadors, this idea of being sent ones, the whole point of them and of preaching the gospel and, going into different places that have never come under the king's domain. In ancient times, they would literally be sent. You even have it somewhat in modern times with embassies, I guess. But they would be sent to areas to make it feel like home to the king. So where if they drove on, the left side of the road, okay, this entire area now under the king's domain drives under the left side of the road. If we have tea at this noon every single day, guess what? You do this and you guys will like it. This is now part of your culture.
Right.
And it was a complete takeover to the point where if the king came, he would feel at home. And understanding that our role is to pledge allegiance to him and to build spaces that he feels at home with.
Right.
And like when you get into like this idea of like, oh, he is holy, enthroned on the praises of his people, it's because we're declaring his worthiness and we're fixating on him, and we're saying we're literally building a space with the sacrifice of our praise that is just like your eternal throne, your eternal kingdom, surrounded by like unilateral praise.
And that's why when in the Lord's Prayer it says, "Pray on earth as it is in heaven."
Yeah.
Then we see in Revelation 4 what heaven looks like, and so we're making wherever we are just like heaven through worship and praise. And that's why it says in Psalm 22, he's enthroned on the praises.
Yeah. And it's, I think the trap too, if we're going to talk about worship as an aside, usually people are like, well, worship is a weapon. Worship is my praise and this. And it's like, well, that can be a byproduct, I suppose, but then I'd be like, it's a prostituting the original purpose.
Worship is worship.
You're missing it, and it's not to get something, it's actually to just declare.
Yes.
And
in honor.
Do things happen? Yes. I mean, that's not an argument that's being made. Sometimes we're so black and white. We say, oh, well, if that's the case, then what are you saying? Nothing happens? Like, no, actually, it's just that it should be unadulterated, single focused towards him and no one else. And I think like there's this crazy verse out of 1 Timothy 6. I think I'll close with. It's talking about Jesus, and this is the New King James, mind you. It says, "The blessed and only potentate, the King of Kings and Lord of Lords." When you read that, you're like, what the heck is that word, right? When we talk about like potent, like when something is strong and like intense, and you talk about the omnipotence, right?
Right.
Not omnipotence, but the omnipotence of God, that he is all powerful. This is where it's coming from. The blessed and only potentate, right? Basically the omnipotent one, the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. He has unmatched supremacy. And to think, I mean, I'm like such a nerd, and I can like think about like, okay, like what do kings look like in Lord of the Rings, or history? What do kings look like? You never have a king like Jesus, like the highest, most powerful king you could ever have, then lay that all down while still maintaining his full divinity and holding all things together, to then live as the God-man, to live as one of his subjects, to live as his creation. It's absolutely wild. Yeah. And that's where I think, you hit it on the head. It's like we need to make our life and our worship, our mission, all about Jesus.
Yes.
And we just need to let him reorder all of our priorities. And I think for us as a family, it is intense, but it's also like when you behold the intensity of the King of Kings, how could you not respond with intensity? Right. But this Advent season, it is an invitation to yield to him as King and to acknowledge that the King of Kings was born lowly and meek. Yeah. And he was born in humility. Yes. And then he has been raised to the right hand of the Father and given the name above every other name, that every knee should bow. And so that's this idea that's stirring within us as we read these, where it's like, man, this is the Advent season, the Christmas season. Yeah. This is what it's about.
Yes.
So check out the rest of the videos in this playlist. And if you're interested in picking up one of these Advent wall calendars for yourself to do this as a family, go ahead and check out the link in the description.